Yeah. It's a very good point. I mean, the number of images that Leo could have pulled together where Hugh Jackman is actually Wolverine in a movie, and he went with P.T. Barnum from The Greatest Showman, and like you said, 4 slashes. So he's also getting ready to duke it out with Freddy Krueger. I mean, I don't know.
I think that's just slash fiction. That's what that is.
Oh.
What was? Oh, okay.
No.
You need some Pepto Bismol, buddy?
No.
You have a couple minutes. We're gonna go through 5 minutes of beginning for the show.
No, it was something I just read.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that very, very soon.
Yeah, we will.
Yes, in 4 minutes and 49 seconds. Here we go, kids.
Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time. And SpongeBob SquarePants. Meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love the Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned, my friends are going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Hey, everyone. It's powerful Brandon here. Our fearless Leoder, Mr. Leo Pond, is taking a well-deserved rest. He desperately wanted to do everything on every show, and we said, no, you go take a nap instead. We'll cover the dork news. Don't worry about it, pal.
Yeah.
He's reluctantly chilling out, but tonight we still have a fun roundtable and a fair amount of topics to discuss. And I'm just gonna go around here and let's see, let's pick a few people at random. Let's introduce Parasite Steve from Retro Redoctopus. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, how's it going? Good to be here.
Glad to have you. It's we're loath to say, oh, Leo shouldn't be here, but he's not going to be. It's great to have someone like yourself show up, man.
Well, thank you very much.
I was like talking with you,
Yeah, sure. It's been a bit too. It's been a hot minute. In fact,
I was just gonna say it's been quite some time. When the hell was the last time I saw you? Oh,
Terrific.
Monster Expo.
Yeah, I saw you at Monster Expo. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was the last one in was it like May or something?
Yeah. Was it May? Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't know.
Right,
April?
yeah. But it was in Fairhaven. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next one is in like East Taunton. They're changing venues for the first time, and it should be a little bigger, a little better. That's in a couple of weeks. Should be fun.
I know, and I will be there as well as the tiny German, aka Dara.
Dara, yes. I will see you at the Rough House Publishing booth as I did last time.
Fucking know it, pal.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, let's see who else we got here. Yo-Yo, what's happening, man?
Not too much. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
What's up,
Okay.
man?
Always a man of few words.
I know.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, move along.
I'm here. I exist.
Hey, listen, I'm happy you are here, man. Thank you. And last and certainly not least, we have Steve from Super Retro Throwback Reviews. What's happening, Mr. Christina?
Good. How is everyone? Actually, I thought you and Steve crossed paths at Terrificon in August.
I don't believe we saw each other at Terrificon.
I didn't even know that Steve was there until you just said that.
Oh wait,
we went on Friday. Tim
I was there Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just there.
So all of us bald guys just fucking blend together for you, huh, Steve?
Yeah, I guess it was all dorks on deck, and
all the light reflecting off the head.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh man, outstanding. Oh, look, we already got some people stopping by. Oh, Tom Morse Jr. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you too, Tom.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Sammy.
Hiya, Sammy. How you doing?
Sammy.
That is Steve's girlfriend, and I do my Poland greeting salutation to her every show when she says hello. Oh, we got Jabo. What's up, guys? Just
what's up, Jabo?
Another day in paradise, Jabo. You know how it goes. And Sammy again. Yeah. So there was quite a bit of stuff going on in the past week since we last convened. I mean, I know, Steve, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Steve, Christina.
You could just say Steve or Steve 1, Steve 2. I don't know how you want to do it.
I don't know, man. Super Retro.
Parasite works too.
Parasite. Okay, great. I'm sticking with Parasite for you and Steve for you. Excellent. I couldn't even just say retro for crying out loud because you guys both use that.
It'll work.
It is also my favorite part of Wednesdays, Sammy. Sammy said it's my favorite part of Wednesdays. You know what? Is that because you're watching the show, or is that because Steve isn't home? You know what? Don't answer. It's fine.
It's probably both.
But yeah, there's quite a bit that went down. But before we get into some of the stuff that was outlined, just real quick, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but Steve, you were looking at your phone and came across some news just as we started rolling here.
You didn't hear my Brandon was thinking.
Well, I definitely heard you gasp. You sounded like you wanted somebody to fetch you a tizzy couch.
Yeah, no, I wasn't in a tizzy. I was just like, oh my God. For those of you who don't know, in the 90s, there was this rapper, for all you Nickelodeon kids, you know, Keenan and Kel.
Dude, aren't you like 20? Shut up.
Yeah. Or if you are familiar with the movie Dangerous Minds, when Weird Al Yankovic parodied a certain song, Coolio just passed away at the age of 59.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. Literally just before we went live.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stood up real quick to just like grab something, and no sooner did Steve send me the message real quick saying like this is what I was gasping at. Like Dara's over on the couch with her headphones in. She's like, Coolio died. I'm like, yeah, where were you 3 minutes ago?
Man.
That is kind of ironic. I have an orange soda, and so
that's really tragic. Wow, that's very unexpected.
I know. I haven't even had a chance. I mean, this was just reported a couple hours ago. TMZ apparently reporting it. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just trying to see what I can glean here. There's looks like there's nothing other than the fact that cardiac arrest.
Yeah, that's what it's suspected. Cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 59. You know. I mean,
yeah, it's nothing. That's crazy.
That's unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
Well, now I'll have to watch Daredevil director's cut in honor of Coolio.
Definitely.
And not listen to Amish Paradise, I guess. I'll listen to the first one, the real one, I suppose. Love the dulcet tones of Stevie Wonder added in. But yeah, that is unfortunate. And my thoughts are with his loved ones. That what an awful thing.
J-Bo says he was only 50. Is he
59.
right? Or
He's 59. He's definitely 59.
He's 59, J-Bo.
Oh yeah,
50 seems a little young.
I agree.
Yeah,
J-Bo. Even at 59, that's still like in this day and age so young. You know, that's
sure.
Unfortunate. You know, and for any of our comic book movie loving friends, I mean, I just made reference to it, but Coolio, especially in the director's cut of Daredevil starring Ben Affleck, has a little bit more of a role in it. It's not like a huge part, but he did partake in a comic book movie. So if you feel like checking that out and you haven't seen it, do yourself the favor, because at the very least, if you don't like it, it'll really make you appreciate what they're about to do with Daredevil again for the third time.
I remember when that director's cut came out, it was pretty universally regarded as the superior version. I remember pretty much everybody was citing the Coolio subplot added back as being one of the main reasons that they liked it. It's like, okay, feels a little bit more like Matt Murdock's a lawyer, and there's a little bit more lawyery stuff there. So yeah.
If they managed to add me too, I agree, it is the superior version of that movie.
Yeah.
If they had added that stuff in and taken out that absolute ridiculous playground fight scene. Is that what you were saying, Yo-Yo? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I remember
That
being
was-
in the theater watching that, and I was just like, it's the middle of the day. Like,
Yeah.
how is no one seeing this blind dude fight this tall, like this statuesque woman right now? This, come on now. I know strange shit happens in New York City, but
Someone walked by.
real.
Only in New York.
Like I was willing to give a carved bullseye in Colin Farrell's forehead a pass against that playground scene. You know, like if you could only get rid of one thing, playground scene right off the bat. Boom.
That movie has, I think, like 2 fairly successful things that I took away from it that I sort of enjoyed, which was one was I did like the sensory deprivation chamber concept. I thought that was pretty cool, and it was something that I could see a character like that doing and trying to get away and just like, you know, chill out in the water. I liked that. I also that A train line was pretty good.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Or
god.
C train, maybe it's the C train, not the
I
A
haven't
train.
even
I just got the
thought
boys
about
in
it.
my head, but it's when he's, you know, basically going to straight up murder his ex-client, and he's like, that light at the end of the tunnel, it's not heaven, it's the C train.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is the C train.
C train.
Yeah, you are 100%.
That is
yeah,
that is a solid line right there.
it is. I mean, it's funny to me because Daredevil had such a resurgence because of Marvel Knights in Marvel comic books, due to the fact that Joe Quesada who was running the imprint at that point. He was not the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics yet. He convinced Kevin Smith to come over and write an 8-issue arc for Daredevil called Guardian Devil. And it's actually a very well done story arc. And he really plays upon a lot of the stuff that Frank Miller had laid down, particularly with Born Again, the actual like Frank Miller story arc, not the Disney Plus show that's about to come out in the near future.
Right.
And I remember reading that comic and hearing the little titterings of a movie somewhere on the horizon. And I was just like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if they cast Matt Damon as Matt Murdock? He looks so much like the character, the way he's been drawn since like Romita Jr. went in there. And then they cast the movie and they were like, Ben Affleck's playing him. I'm like, oh, you guys picked the
was right
wrong
there.
fucking person. You watched
We
Good
was
Will
next to each
Hunting.
other a lot.
Yeah, it's like, was it like a toss up? Like, oh, should we cast Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, or Robin Williams? Like, step away from the Miramax film. You're making poor decisions. And also, when I found out, like, oh, so who's directing it? Oh, the guy who did Grumpy and Grumpier Old Men. All right, sure. I mean, Stranger Things, right? And yikes. But that was based off the theatrical. The director's cut does take a lot of the sting out. There is no forgiving Elektra though. So anyway, we can move past that. It is unfortunate that we no longer have Coolio with us, and our thoughts are with his family and friends. On to some more jovial news, hopefully at any rate. Unless you have been hanging out under a rock in a cave on Mars for the past 24 hours.
For the past 3 minutes.
We had a huge announcement, in a sense, from Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman regarding what I'm going to call right now Deadpool 3, the third one. And it seems as though Hugh Jackman is coming back as Wolverine one last time for this adventure alongside Wade Wilson.
I think it should be Deadpool 3, the Loganing. Or Deadpool 3 Logan's Fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the winner right there. Logan's Fun. I love it. I fucking love it.
You know, I don't know if you guys saw the recent video they posted today with them trying to explain the plot, but the music was playing, so they were, and everyone is trying to.
I shut the music off.
It was Wham. It was Wham with an exclamation point.
Yeah.
Wham.
But
Wham.
they were
That's the
doing
one Wham song I always have stuck in my head. Like I walk around my house singing it all the time. And
That's
Darren's
because
like,
they had the
I have fond
exclamation point
memories
at
of
that
that
point.
song.
They were doing gestures, and one of the things they did was they reenacted a comic book cover.
Oh, did they? I saw them like doing claws and punching and
yeah,
stuff.
like
and...
swords up the front of Hugh Jackman and claws coming down.
Yeah.
They said nothing of substance other than it's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. And I know specific because I shut the music off and I blew it up full screen on my computer and I played it 3 times in a row after I watched it on 3/4 speed. And I watched their mouths. There's really nothing said about what the plot is. Ryan Reynolds ends up saying, "What a way to bring them into the MCU." And Hugh Jackman is just like, "It's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. All these explosions. You're going to fucking love it." And then they bring the music back down and they're like, "So that's that." And I'm like, "Oh, you cheeky fuckers." But yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I was talking with a couple of our cohorts over at Splash Pages last night, and we were speculating a bit, as I'm sure a lot of us dorks are doing, as to what version of Wolverine Hugh Jackman might be playing in Deadpool 3, the third one. Logan's Fun. Look, it's fun. I gotta write that down. It's so fucking good, dude. But they said to me like, "Oh, do you what version do you think he's gonna be? Is he gonna be this? Is he gonna be that? Is he gonna be this?" And my response to that was yes. Because with the time travel that they opened up in Deadpool 2, and now the multiverse saga as it's playing out in the MCU proper, we could quite literally end up with Hugh Jackman being displayed as several different versions at different points of Wolverine within that movie. I actually posited like one of the things that we've seen in both actually I think it was primarily the first one. We got a little bit of animation when he was, a little brain damage that he was healing from. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of push it out there that, oh, hey, there's going to be like an animated version of Wolverine in this. And a lot of people are going to, get psyched and pumped up for it to be like X-Men 97, but Hugh Jackman. I have a feeling this is like right up Ryan Reynolds' alley too. I would venture to say we would more likely see an R-rated version of X-Babies, and Hugh Jackman would voice Wolvie. He would just have like those dull little butter knife claws, and he'd be like, "Hey guys, it's me. I'm Wolvie, and I speak with a little Australian accent."
Want a piece? That's a deep cut for you.
Oh man, but yeah, I think we could actually end up seeing that play out all together in that. I would not be shocked by it, and particularly in a meta way, just because of everything that's going on with these movies currently. Deadpool's just like, oh, I mean, they're all doing it, so why can't we, right? And that's that. With the nature of breaking the fourth wall, it's likely going to end up being a lot of fun.
I agree with you, Brandon. I think it's going to go multiverse way. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just along for the ride. I look forward to what they're going to do. And I'm just excited. So.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but Sean Sean Levy is directing it. I mean, he was the director of Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
He also directed Real Steel, starring Hugh Jackman. So the three of them have worked together. They work well in a professional capacity, but they are all also good friends because they've known each other for so long. So I think all that camaraderie, and combined with the original writers of Deadpool coming back to do this, we are likely going to be in for a big treat altogether. You know, never mind.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, like, I think that I'm very trepidatious of this, probably more so than most fans. This doesn't really, it's not really what I want, because it's just going backwards, and I'm just so tired of, as much as I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I mean, you know, he's done it. And I just want the new Wolverine, and I just want the comic accurate costume and stuff. So even if we get the comic accurate costume here, I think it'll be like kind of a more of an apology, like, well, we're finally going to let him wear the costume, which is, I admit I would like that just for that reason, but I hope that they don't squander the opportunity. And, you know, Sammy mentioned, you know, in the chat, can we just take a moment to appreciate their friendship? And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the best part of this for me. I do love that, you know, basically very publicly Ryan Reynolds just fucks with Hugh Jackman constantly, and it's just the funniest thing. And I do really like those. As celebrities go, they all seem like really cool peeps. And Ryan and Blake Lively's relationship on Twitter is really funny too. But you know, I mean, I hope they don't squander it in a way. I hope they do something more similar to like the Spider-Man No Way Home scenario, where it feels legitimate. Like this actually isn't just them fucking around. It's like, okay, no, this feels right. This fits with the MCU. They're going to touch back on some of this stuff. It's not a one-off necessarily, because we can have a Hugh Jackman other universe Wolverine, just like we had the Toby and the Andrew Garfield and versions of Spider-Man. Sure, like no problem. So because we're doing that, the multiverse saga now, and we're wrapping that up, that might be a nice like button on the end of that. If we just, you know, because I mean, there are people who just really are very excited and stuff. So that's cool. I hope it's awesome, but I also really just want the MCU X-Men really bad. So I really want to see who is going to be playing the character going forward. And I think that, you know, I can't get over like one of my most wanted things for the MCU, even though it probably will never happen. But I mean, maybe it'll happen someday. But I just wish we could introduce Wolverine for the very first time ever with the Hulk. I just wish they could figure out the circumstances and somehow make it work. But I mean, you know, Banner's off to Sakaar now, and you know, I don't think that's going to happen. But it's kind of nice that his first MCU reference ever was on She-Hulk, I guess. But it's like, you know, that how does that even count? Like, come on, we want to see the character. So I don't know, you know, if are they going to use Hugh Jackman to introduce the new Wolverine? Are they going to have Wolverine versus Wolverine? Or, you know, what could we see in a multiverse appearance of the old in the new universe? I really don't know, but it would be a fun way if they wanted to do something like that and also finally give Hugh the costume. You know, it would be a fun way to play with the different costumes that he's had. You know, you could have the black and silver versus the brown and yellow, or the brown and yellow versus the yellow and blue, or something like that. I mean, I think it was reported last week that I don't know if this was confirmed. I don't think it was confirmed, but that the Astonishing X-Men was going to perhaps be the direction of when they finally get around to the X-Men movies.
Yeah,
I don't think that's confirmed, but
I think that's speculation
yeah.
at this point. Yeah,
Just
but I
just
did read that.
I do love Wolverine a lot, and I love the X-Men, and I just I hope it's great. That's all I can. I guess.
Yeah,
I'll just end
agree.
on that.
I agree with you, man. My whole deal is when I say like I think we're in for a treat. It's because of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Their chemistry and friendship, I know, is going to translate very well on screen. They're both very good at what they do. I mean, Ryan Reynolds has fallen a bit into playing like the same smarmy character over the past several years, but he has done some pretty heady and harrowing stuff too. I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the movie Buried. That movie really fucked me up, and it has stuck with me since I've seen it. It was awful. I mean, I'm glad I watched it, but once was enough. But I do think that they likely what you touched upon, Parasite, is that they are going to use this to segue the new Wolverine to introduce and pass that torch from Hugh Jackman to whomever it might be. One of the key factors here is that the options for the X-Men actors, as it was under 20th Century Fox, don't expire until 2025. So with this movie coming out in 2024, Hugh Jackman is like pretty much the only person that you could get in there for a one-off because he doesn't want to continue playing the character. Sort of like having Patrick Stewart show up briefly in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they play it a bit for like drama followed by an immediate like what the fuck moment towards the end of the movie where Deadpool basically thinks he's like he finally feels like they're really friends, and Wolverine either sacrifices himself or he has to get pulled back to where he's actually from, and then they're never going to see each other again, and he's all no, and then he turns around and he's like right there in the MCU version of Xavier's mansion, like right in front of it, and then there's a hairy bulky dude looking at him. He's like, what are you doing, bub? He's like, holy shit, and like there you go, like that's like the tease you get. We still don't know exactly who the actor is going to be at this point or whatever.
I could definitely see that. I'm leery that I don't want them to introduce the new Wolverine as a joke, as a throwaway joke, like that. I could see that happening, but I really don't want that. That's why it's so precious to me to get him in there fighting the Hulk, and I get it. It's just not going to happen probably, but it's got to be something.
I think it will. I honestly think it will.
I mean, if it's not the Hulk, it could be somebody else like very important. Like I mean, the Thing would be great. I mean, I'm literally dying to friggin' see. I like they keep talking about She-Hulk going over to the Avengers movies, and she's probably going to show up there whether people want her to or not. And I'm like, dude, I just want her in a Fantastic Four movie like that. I love the old like the Byrne stuff. That's I talked about that on Splash Pages a month ago. I mean, like, that's what I want. So yeah, if you can establish a really killer Fantastic Four, and then you have She-Hulk go in on number 2 and join the cast. I mean, like, let's establish these characters. I mean, let's get the Thing. And he wouldn't be bad, as the guy to fight Wolverine for sure. Or like I could see Thor, Wolverine coming in fighting Thor. That would be a good stand-in as well. I mean, so I mean, we'll see. I just want it to have weight and meaning and not be a throwaway joke.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't use Deadpool 3 to sort of introduce whomever might be taking over the mantle of Wolverine at this point, that's fine, because it negates the issue, the concern of it being maybe turned into a joke or feeling too jokey. and I'm okay with that. Mostly because of the fact of what you said already. I really just want them to set up their mutants, their X-Men, that MCU version. And I do agree with you 100%. I've been saying it for a while. Like, Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine is more of the same, and not that that was a bad thing necessarily, but it's time to progress. You know, we've got a wider world.
Yeah, it was going back 22 years. What? No, was it 2000 or was it
2000?
2001.
I mean,
2000.
come on, it's
2000.
long enough. That's long enough. Like,
yeah,
but it's fine. I mean, you know, I did love No Way Home, and you know what they did. I mean, I think we all assumed that if the two other Spider-Man were going to be in it, they were going to be quick cameos. I mean, I think that's what everybody assumed. Nobody thought that they were going to be like these major characters in the movie. So it's possible it can just, you know, surprise me and, you know, be great and stuff. But we'll see what happens. I guess another little bit of news was that they did confirm that Namor is a mutant, which I think is pretty awesome. I'm really happy with that. I really I got to say, like, I am all in on this version of Namor. I think he looks so friggin' badass. I just like it's so gross to me to see like the complaints of like, you know, oh, he's not comic accurate enough. It's like, dude, he checks like every box that Namor could possibly check costume wise and looks wise, except the color of his skin, I guess. And it's like, dude, he's freaking got the pointy ears. I mean, he's got the wings on his feet. He's got the gold in the right places. They just added some extra stuff. Okay. And then I like saw this one guy on one of the threads, and he's like, yeah, well, what's with the mustache though? It's like, oh
yeah, that's the make or break moment, eh?
100% accurate, or it's not accurate at all. He's got a mustache. Whoops. What a joke this is. He has a mustache.
Yeah,
he has a nose ring too,
a
a septum piercing, but you know, it all looks great. And did you guys see those? I think Variety posted the Black Panther 2, some new Black Panther 2 photos, and there was a really great one of Namor, and you can really see the spear that he's holding. That they had to replace the trident, so they're trying to get as far away from Aquaman as possible, which I think is correct. He should not have a trident. It really looks like the tip of the spear is probably vibranium. It's definitely black. So I'm assuming that, you know, I can't remember what the name of the city that they're from. That's not Atlantis. They came up with a new place that they're from, but I don't know if maybe they also have. I assume they also have caches of vibranium. And that maybe it's just a big war for vibranium or something. I don't know.
Well, but I feel like it's probably going to be kind of you know, I'm trying to think of the right word. I want to say surprising, but you know, considering that Wakanda is a nation that until the end of Black Panther, the rest of the world had no idea just how advanced they were.
Right.
Overall. I have a feeling that Namor's kingdom is going to mirror Wakanda in a sense. Like, they are going to be far more advanced than people would realize, like at a glance. And that I think that'd be an excellent juxtaposition going back and forth between what each side sees when they look at the other and how they're going to come to blows. Like, what is that full conflict going to be? And you know, I think there's a lot of fun stuff and interesting stuff that will be displayed and discovered when we finally see Wakanda Forever.
I hope so, man. Like I have, I don't know, a lot of high hopes for this version of Namor, and I'm really hoping that we walk away going, wow, that was one of the best MCU villains. I mean, a lot of people have said that Marvel movies have, poor villains. There's like not too many great ones. Obviously Ryan Coogler gave us one of the best. So,
you know what the issue is? They need to stop killing the villains. That's like across the board in a lot of these movies. How do any of our protagonists develop an arch nemesis if by the end of the movie their newfound nemesis is kaput?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we did get, let's be fair though, lots of appearances for Loki. Thanos had his day. We're gonna get Kang, for sure. Namor's not going to be a one and done, but yeah, I mean, it is there. Yeah. I mean, definitely could have done without killing Killmonger. Definitely could have done without killing the Shang-Chi's father there, the Mandarin, Wenwu.
They probably could have made more use. I mean, they kind of went back and fixed it a bit with Endgame and what have you, but they probably could have done a little bit more with Red Skull.
Yeah.
I think that was more of a Hugo Weaving problem.
It was, but they I mean, that wasn't Hugo Weaving in Endgame, and you wouldn't have known the difference.
When he showed up in Endgame, that was the moment for me, man. That was like my favorite surprise.
It was awesome. Yeah, I loved it, man. But
yeah, really cool.
I also really enjoyed like those Captain America comics I read as a kid, where the Red Skull was just back there twirling his invisible mustache and just dance, puppets, dance. And Steve's just like, I have no idea what's going on. I just punched the Nazis.
I don't know how to dance. I wasn't around with them. I wasn't around for the mashed potato. What do I do?
I can jitterbug.
I have
Will
America's
the jitterbug
ass.
do anything? Yeah, so there is something to that, and I think part of it too is when you look at like the big two publishers, one thing that DC definitely has cemented in the zeitgeist is the arch nemesis for a lot of their characters. Like everybody knows Superman and Lex Luthor, Batman and the Joker, things like that. Even now, I mean, people are very familiar with Flash, Professor Zoom, or Reverse Flash, however you want to say it. There's equals for each one of them for the most part. When it comes to
my favorite Sinestro.
Oh, Green Lantern and Sinestro, perfect, absolutely. But when it comes to Marvel, I mean, you have your Doctor Dooms, and you have your Magnetos, but the public.
Yeah, no, I see your point. The heroes don't necessarily have, like, for sure have a clear nemesis for sure. There are some, but it's not as prevalent. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the time I think that they should probably, take a step back and start looking at what it is they have set up. I mean, when you bring in incredibly talented actors to portray the nemesis of a title, such as you killed Andy Serkis and Michael B. Jordan in the same movie.
Yeah, Andy Serkis shouldn't have been killed. He was definitely definitely great.
Absolutely not.
Both of them should not have been killed. They're both great for different reasons.
Precisely.
I mean, Killmonger was a legitimately great villain who had an amazing point.
Yeah,
Claw was just fun.
He was batshit insane.
You need fun characters too, and he was the right amount of comedy for me too. Like, I loved his. You want to hear my mixtape? We actually dropped one like that. Like, I don't know. He was really great.
He was really having fun
as a funny character.
He threw the cash over the bar.
I made it rain.
It was great. I mean,
His
they
accent
are
so good
seeding
too.
it. Oh, they were both pitch perfect for the roles that they were playing in that movie.
Mhm.
And it's just it looks to me like they're kind of correcting with that. They're trying to make something of Baron Zemo now.
I don't know. Are they? I was shocked he wasn't announced for the Thunderbolts. So I mean,
Yeah, Bucky and not Zemo seems weird.
Yeah,
seems
for now.
super weird. I don't. Bucky does
But
not.
That doesn't mean he won't actually be in it.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he's like, don't show us all your cards anyway. That's one thing about this Hugh Jackman thing that I've seen a lot of people say, like, come on, spoilers, guys, like, and it reminds me of the whole, the Hulk is secretly in Ragnarok, but it's not a secret because we put it in the trailer. Like, how many people said, holy shit, had I not known, that would have been one of the greatest moments in the MCU period when he shows up. But they wanted butts and seats, and the first two Thor movies didn't make as much money as some of the other ones, so they're like, okay, put it in the trailer. But I wish they hadn't, and I'm glad that they kept as much secret about No Way Home as they did. And if Hugh Jackman showed up,
it was lower risk though.
What's that?
It was lower risk, just like you said, though.
Yeah,
of course you can keep more secrets with No Way Home because people are going to see it.
People are going to.
Yep.
So true. They're going to go see a Spider-Man movie because it's Thor 3, especially coming off the Dark World, is not. Spider-Man has always made bank.
Yeah.
So
you definitely need to jazz up the Thor enthusiasm by dropping a little.
I wish they didn't. I'm
right there with you. I completely agree.
Same.
The absolute terrible part of that is, like you were saying, I mean, people saying, like, come on, just give it to us. Like, tell us what's happening. Is that's becoming more and more of an expectation. And that in and of itself is just a gigantic issue. The more people expect to get, the more they're going to be disappointed when it's not everything they made in their own like head canon.
That's so true. Oh my God. That drives me crazy when people just get so wrapped up in their headcanon and their guesses and their theories that it becomes they watch the movie like it's with a scorecard, and they're like trying to figure out all the things they got right and all the things they got wrong. And it's like, did you even watch this freaking movie? That's just a bingo card, right? Like, oh my God, can you just sit back and like just and then I say this all the time. I swear, for some people it becomes a thing where it's like, well, because it's not what I wanted, I can't like it. It's impossible. Which drives me crazy. And the example that I use all the time is Moon Knight. I'm a huge Moon Knight fan. I was anticipating that show more than any other thing in Phase 4. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Now, is it even remotely similar of what I think they should have done? Like, not even a little. Like, not even a little. I wouldn't have done, if I was a showrunner, it wouldn't even be similar. But I'm still totally able to enjoy what they did, and I was totally invested in the mystery of it all and trying to pick it apart and everything. But man, that is just not what I would have done at all. But
I mean, that's the whole.
Doesn't mean it's not another good thing.
Yeah,
it can
exactly.
It can be another thing that is another valid way of doing something.
Yeah,
I still really liked it, but
it's not an either or scenario at any point.
It's what I want exactly. It has to be tailor-made for me, or I will hate it. It's garbage. If
they didn't consult me, then it's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, I mean, that's what we saw with a lot of people's reaction to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. A lot of people had crazy expectations and crazy high expectations about what they were going to see in that movie.
Yeah.
Which I had been saying for months on this show. Like, listen, everybody, temper yourself, temper your expectations, because honestly, I don't think everything that you all are listing and getting excited about is gonna show up in this movie. Lo and behold, that is exactly how it went down. And for all it was, a lot of the complaint straight through was, I really thought we were going to see a lot more alternate universes with like different characters. And my response to that is, the name of the movie was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, right? Like, if you do that, you reduce the movie altogether to just a series of cameos for fanboy service.
Yeah, it becomes Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
and you're just going through vignettes. But I mean, they could have done it differently. They could have made Reed a bigger character or something, or had him survive to the end or something. Like, they could have done that, but they didn't. That's not what they did. The point was, holy shit, Wanda's ridiculous. Awesome. Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do, but it's not like the real Mr. Fantastic and Peggy Carter and exactly. All these characters. It's just, it made it okay to murder them horribly, because they're not our versions. They're the 838 or whatever it was. But that's an excellent point. What's that?
What'd you say?
Mr. Fantastic's fettuccine Alfredo.
Oh yeah, he turned into sketties.
Yeah, fucking spaghetti squash.
Yeah, he turned into blue spaghetti squash.
Oh, look, I also had one of those Play-Doh toys as a child. Fantastic, Wanda.
I do, as much as Peggy Carter is one of my favorite characters ever, I do kind of wish that it was him and Maria Rambeau that ended up being the last two, personally. But hey,
yeah. Well, I mean,
it's okay.
Knowing what we know now about the production of the movie, John Krasinski wasn't even there shooting with them. It was all done on blue screen after the fact. So he was never a presence on set doing it.
Yeah.
And
I ultimately love Peggy in this movie, and I love that they cut her in half, just like Zombie Captain America and What If. I mean, that was just great too. So it's fine. I love her. 616 for life.
Yeah, right. 616, kid.
Robert has a comment about Moon Knight. I was just mentioning Moon Knight. Yeah,
I highly enjoyed it. I think they did what they needed to do to attract a mass of people who had no idea who he even was.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I enjoyed the show. Yeah, I am just like, I know bare bones Moon Knight stuff. Like, we actually talked about it on the show, and I was just like, I think blah 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 blah, and somebody in the comments was like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I was like, not bad. Apparently 11-year-old me paid a little bit more attention than I thought. Thank you.
I just think you could
Universe cards.
I think you could have done a more Daredevil Netflix sort of thing. But and had it be a little bit more straightforward. But I like Moon Knight when he's basically in Skid Row and questioning whether or not he's an insane person. So they did some stuff that I do like, and there really were some. I mean, I wasn't expecting a kaiju battle at the end, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I said to Darren, I was like, oh, so many people I know are like creaming their jeans right now.
Oh my god, that crocodile lady was so awesome.
Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised by his wife.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, first
awesome.
Egyptian superhero. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got like a little like, when that little girl saw her and it was just like, are you a superhero? And I was just like, that's exactly what all of this is supposed to be about.
Yep.
It's wonderment for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's I genuinely enjoyed the entirety of Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's someone who I'd never disliked the character. I just never had an active interest in him.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of it, I was just like, oh, I hope they continue on with this character. I really do.
Yeah, especially the way that they ended it on his third personality. They made such a big deal out of will we see him or not, and so I'm happy it's getting a second season.
Yeah,
Robert says,
Go ahead, Parasite.
As do I, brother. I would have loved it if it was more in tune with the madness of the comic and his mind, but Disney be Disney. Yeah, totally. I mean, it was this show, not that we're here to talk about it, but I will say more than any other Disney Plus Marvel show, which, I mean, I admit I'm just a MCU zombie at this point. I like it all. So I'm like that with Star Wars too. I just like it all. I'm like Leo. I don't know, but
Mr. Sunshine.
I mean, I don't know. What can I say? I like what I like. It's fun. But I think this show more than any other show has suffered from not enough episodes. There was a lot that was I think episode 3 could have been probably 3 episods. Just the amount of ground that they covered, and it felt so incredibly rushed. Because it had to be X amount of episodes, X amount of minutes or whatever. I think that with the story they were trying to tell more than any other show, I wish this had probably another couple of episodes, or maybe just cover less ground. But they wanted to tell this big sweeping Indiana Jones thing. And I mean, it was ultimately fun. So,
Yeah. And I mean, that's the one thing that most people can agree upon when it comes to the MCU is that the movies are fun.
Yeah.
So that's what we've grown accustomed to.
Yeah. The characters are also, for the most part, very endearing and very well done. And
I like the careful choosing of words. That was nice. Like, yes.
I mean, everybody's gonna, there's always going to be people who are going to disagree with anything you can say, no matter what, but trying to be, diplomatic.
Yeah, no, I mean, we try our best to see all sides when we discuss these things. We just, sometimes I think in conversations like this, we try to approach things a little bit more logically than a large portion of the fan base out there, because it has become very much like, me, this is what I want. And if it's not that, well then, F it. I'm all set. I don't think that's any way to live, to be perfectly honest, because
in your mom's basement.
I'm still waiting on a picture of Sarah Michelle Gellar to print out that I started in 1997. Well, yes, I am on a dial-up. Why do you ask?
Mom, I told you I don't like celery in the tuna.
What the fuck are these raisins in this cookie? God damn it! How many times have I told you, Donna? I told you to call me Mom. Whatever, Donna. But,
is your mother's name Donna, or is that just
my
are we working stuff out secretly?
No, my mother-in-law's name is Donna. But
well, okay. So the answer is yes. We are secretly working things out.
No, she would
right
never. She would never dare put raisins in oatmeal cookies.
Yeah, she would never dare watch this show, so it doesn't really matter.
Hey, listen, you'd be surprised, man, because she saw Dara and I watching Peacekeeper, and she was like, "What is this?" And we were like, "All right, listen, if you really want to know, it's on HBO Max, but you'd probably be well served checking out this movie, The Suicide Squad, first." So she did. She watched The Suicide Squad, and then she watched all of Peacemaker, and she was just like, "I really liked those stories." I'm like, all right. I didn't see that one coming.
She calls Peacemaker her stories.
Well,
that's adorable.
Those stories. But yeah, I mean, she usually watches like BritBox. Like, she was like, "Oh, I was watching this, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, they do this, and it's all everyone. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've seen Agatha Christie mysteries before. That's what all of those shows are. It's the same thing. You're just retreading. There's nothing new under the sun, lady. But yeah, like,
it's all the green and pleasant land. We know. We get it.
Oh, look at the green rollicking hills. They are clearly in either Wales or Scotland. They're nowhere near London at this point. But yeah, like, oh, wow. Oh, everyone's drinking tea. This looks like a riveting good time. I'll be in the other room. But I mean, it has David Tennant in it. Oh well, yeah, I suppose. What is he? Does he travel through time? No, he's like kind of a depressed detective in the English countryside. Oh, yeah, hard pass.
And that
Thanks,
does
though.
sound kind of awesome. I mean,
it actually is
that wasn't a bad show.
It actually is Broadchurch.
Yeah,
it's him and
heard of
Olivia Colman.
I'd be down. I'd be down. As geeks, we're
it's really
bred
good.
to like love David Tennant. I mean,
Oh,
it's just
absolutely.
in our DNA. I don't know why. There's something about that curmudgeon-y bastard that we really respond to that guy.
You guys been the Doctor in Doctor Who. He was
he's
the Purple Man.
He from now to the day I die.
Fugitoid in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He's Uncle Scrooge. He's Uncle Scrooge.
Oh, and Uncle Scrooge. I mean, he's hit like some pretty big geeks, like dorky milestones. So
yeah.
I mean, I think it's safe to say at this point, if you
put he did the Neil Gaiman. He did the Neil Gaiman thing.
Right. Yeah.
The Omens. Yeah.
Oh my God. Good Omens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was very good. Those Omens, all of them.
Great Omens. Even
it was pretty great Omens. The ones I saw were great. I liked them a lot.
I can't speak for the ones I didn't see, but the
ones I did though.
Oh man, just mwah.
Chef's kiss Omens. Yeah.
Neil Gaiman. The one time he watches this show, he's like, "Ah, shit! I guess I can't use that title." Scratch it right off the list. Yeah. So let's move along a little bit. This is something that happened recently, and it is because of the MCU. But Matt Shakman, who is now the director of Fantastic Four for Marvel Studios, he did WandaVision for them, and he's also done a whole bunch of television show directing. Primarily, what I knew him from was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He directed like a huge amount of episodes for that show.
Oh.
And
cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't realize this until he was announced as the director for Fantastic Four. I saw his picture for the first time in all the years I've seen his name pop up as, directed by blah, blah, blah. And I instantly recognized him from when I was a child watching TV. He was an actor when he was a kid, and he played the brother on the show Just the 10 of Us on ABC. Yeah, his on that show, his sisters were played by Brooke Thies and Heather Langenkamp, both of whom were in Nightmare on Elm Street movies, of course. And his character in Just the 10 of Us wore Nightmare on Elm Street t-shirts all the time. So it just kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh, he became a director. Good for him. But apparently, and I did not realize this until, just a little while, like earlier today, he was actually going to direct the next Star Trek movie for Paramount.
Okay, so I thought that was the guy that just left Star Trek. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess J.J. Abrams had at like something, I don't know if it was a shareholders meeting or whatever, but he had said like, oh, we're going to be making a fourth movie, and we are bringing back the whole cast from the other three. But they actually hadn't secured the contracts for those performers yet. So they were in a mad dash to try to get them before the end of this year signed to a contract to get ready to make that movie. Because Matt Shakman stepped away and went with Marvel Studios, offered to direct Fantastic Four instead, it's actually given Paramount some breathing room in being able to secure the actors and actresses for the next Star Trek movie. But they are going to want to get going on it sooner rather than later, because Star Trek is most certainly the most valuable franchise that Paramount has. I'm not discounting, Mission Impossible or anything, but I'm saying overall value and longevity, it is Star Trek. I mean,
thanks, Lucille.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. I read that today and that blew my mind. I did not know she had a hand in that. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. There was something else that Desilu did as well, which it's like, holy shit, like if they hadn't produced, they put up the money to produce this, we wouldn't have blah blah blah. It was something not too long ago. I just can't remember what it was, but they had their fingers in several pies. They knew what to back. And I mean, Star Trek was the right way to go.
Yeah.
But so Matt Shackman is pretty much the only thing that's been announced for Fantastic Four, but Star Trek has been given some wiggle room, and because of the number of directors that they've approached for the next movie, we literally have no idea what the fuck they're going to end up with as a flick. I mean, Matt Shackman was the director they were going to finally like go with, but I mean, they even like turned to like Quentin Tarantino at one point, and he was like this close. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movie. Personally,
I've heard about this.
I didn't want that.
I heard about rumors about this.
A lot of feet shot. You're all right.
I heard that he wanted to do the gangster version of it, like from the original series. I'm like, no, thank you. I mean, it's just one fucking episode, and he wanted to do a 2-hour movie about it. I'm like, okay.
Quentin Tarantino would,
and it ends up being like the most like meh thing ever. Like,
yeah,
it's a Star Trek movie. Like,
it's gonna be like 2 hours of 2 hours of a hurry.
Like,
I don't know.
He just phones it in. You know,
it's gonna be Tarantino would just have them all stuck in the holodeck for the entire movie, and it would be set to 1994. Like, that's
or 2 hours of Uhura's feet.
God, there is nothing grosser to me on the face of this planet.
Did Uhura's feet? What the hell do you have against Uhura's feet?
No. I was gonna say
oddly specific, but
no. I was gonna say nothing grosser to me than the amount of times
there cannot be a gross section. Any part of Zoe Saldana cannot possibly be anything but gorgeous. That's just.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm
every single inch.
I was specifically talking about Quentin Tarantino. Like,
no, yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, his need to like put foot shots in.
I know. I'm just hassling you.
Like, I remember in the theater, I literally went when
you don't like
Kill Bill.
The wiggle my big toe.
Wiggle your big toe. And I was like, oh God, no. Like,
wiggle your big toe.
Really should have
powerful
that
Brandon.
Toe, like... She should have
wiggled that big, powerful thing right in front of us
a day sooner than she did.
Yeah, that was a weird, really weird scene.
Yeah, I mean,
like and that was before
her toes look like my fingers, for Christ's sake. Like, she may as well have been sitting in that car going, write calligraphy with your big toe.
Look, no body shaming, all right? She can't choose the feet she's got.
I'm not shaming her body,
but I mean, he didn't need
small part of it.
The scene didn't need to be 17 minutes long. Is I mean, that
I don't know why the camera started shaking jerkily like halfway through it, and then all of a sudden you heard a guy go, ugh.
Well, and it's really it's funny because like at that point in history, I don't think it was like known that he had this like big foot fetish thing that he worked in. And you know what it totally reminds me of? What's that?
From Dusk Till Dawn. Come on.
Yeah, I guess I saw that. So, okay, in my defense, I saw that when I was a teenager. I haven't seen it since, and like I forgot about that part. So it was on the internet. It came up recently, and I saw the clip, and it was to prove like what what a freak the guy is or whatever, and it's just like, wow, you can have whatever fetish you want, but that you filmed it though, and it was himself. He's like, I have this kink. I'm gonna hire this one of the most beautiful women on the planet to put her foot in my mouth, and it's like for like 5 minutes. I don't know. It's extended. It's
Yeah, he's
long.
basically sitting there like, I can't believe I'm paying myself for this.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
great.
We
Yeah.
have to read this scene.
Yeah. So no
you
king
can
shaming,
see it
but
in
that.
Pulp Fiction though too, because I mean,
Yeah, so everything
Mhm.
starts to make sense. What it reminds me of is like if you're a heavy metal fan and like when you found out that Rob Halford was gay and you're like, oh right. Oh, Jawbreaker.
Yeah. I mean, like
I get it.
You ever seen footage of like some of the live shows that Judas Priest did, and he would be spitting water out on the guys in the front row, and
Oh,
he'd
yeah.
pull
Oh,
out
yeah.
a whip and stuff. and
No, a lot.
You start to like think of it in context. You're like,
Hey,
oh my,
all I'm saying is a lot made sense. And
Oh, so
it's the
much.
same. It's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
yeah.
But
I mean, you could, but I'll say this much: like you could leave a Judas Priest show and still like be under that fog and be like, oh, that was a great show. Those guys are metal, man, and
Yeah.
not think anything of it. But if like you walked out of a Queen show and you were like, that Freddie Mercury must get so much trim. Is he a carpenter? Is that what you're trying to say? Because I'm pretty sure that's the only way trim is involved here.
although after I've made the comparison to of those two guys, I will say that Rob Halford's the man and will always be. And
Rob.
Quentin Tarantino's just a big creep in my opinion. But hey, would his Star Trek movie have been good? We'll never know.
I can
Maybe
tell
it
you
would've
this:
been.
it would have been 2 hours, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, he does like a lot of, he likes his talkies. He makes those talkies.
He likes his talkies. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm gonna skip over what I had in the list just out of order a little bit because since we're talking about directors.
Good night,
that
Sammy.
maybe- Oh, yep. Hold on. Wait. Oh, good night, fellas. Have fun. Goodbye, boys.
Yeah, bye
See you,
bye.
Sammy.
You think it'll work? It'll take a miracle. Bye bye.
I'm not a bitch. I'm your wife.
After what you just said, I'm not sure I want to be that anymore.
Hey, listen, you rush a miracle, man. You get rotten miracles.
Hey.
So speaking about properties given to directors that maybe just wasn't a great idea from the start, and the fact that it was seen to it came to fruition.
Mhm.
The Munsters by Rob Zombie.
Haven't
now
seen
on
it.
Netflix. I have not seen it either.
I have not seen it. I went 30 minutes into this film, and as much of a Rob Zombie fan I am, music wise, not so much movie wise. Granted, I'll get to that in a minute. I will say I've been to some of his shows and listened to his music. He has a lobbing hard on for the Munsters. You see it in his shows, you hear it in his music, the music titles. He loves the Munsters. Watching this movie, yes, it's a love letter to the Munsters. But a lot of people don't think
Serial killers can write love letters too, pal.
Right. Don't get me started on that Dahmer series. 'Cause I'm starting to watch that on Netflix.
No, I won't. I'm not saying that to get you started on that. I'm saying it to illustrate the point.
It's actually pretty good. Evan Peters is fucking
Focus, Steve. The Munsters.
What? Wait, Evan Peters is fucking? What? In the show?
That guy fucks.
No, I mean,
Body parts.
He's not running in slow motion listening to music. I'll tell you that. I've not seen one positive review on this film. Not since it leaked a week ago.
Yeah.
A few people on the network
thing got me, man.
A few people on the network had to literally stop it at the 30-minute mark, myself included, because
I know Phil liked it. Phil Prone. I know people who liked it. I know I'm not going to be one of them. I don't know if I need to see it. I think I'm gonna I can tell you right now, I've never liked a Rob Zombie movie. There's no way this is going to be the magic one for me, and I love the Munsters too much. So for me, I don't know. It's okay. I don't have to see it. It's fine. Like I don't have to hate watch the damn thing. But you know, I'm happy some people like it, and that's cool.
No,
but
I'm not hate watching it.
I know
was
I
watching
would.
He's not saying you. Just
Yeah,
some
but
people.
I if I watched it, that's what would happen. I would be steaming, and it's fine. It's okay. It's just a movie.
I said this before, and I'll say it again. I have not seen the new movie, and mostly because of the same reason you said, Parasite. I don't want to end up watching it and just feeling my blood pressure rise the whole time.
I will tell you, I literally shut it off the moment they named Herman Munster after a Munster cheese sandwich. I was like, done.
Well, first of all, it's pronounced Munster, but
Munster,
that's
whatever.
Wow, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're not the one that got it wrong.
You're not the problem there, Steve. You told us what happened in the movie, and that sounds like a
that's
thing.
why I was like Peter Griffin, done. I was just like, why?
I said this when they announced and they showed the first like trailer for whatever. I know that this was a divisive thing. I think Parasite, we kind of like talked briefly about it online, but I would much rather sit down and watch the the pilot turned Halloween special from NBC, Mockingbird Lane, twice in a row.
Yes.
Than sit down to watch this.
I remember we talked briefly. I didn't see that either. I think that I would probably be annoyed at it for totally different reasons. It looked very legitimate. I'm sure it was good. It's just I don't know. When things stray that far from the source material, I just ask the question, why did you bother? But it's okay. Again,
well, it was honestly like the same exact like tropes and characters, less goofballish behavior, but brought into the modern era. So Grandpa Munster, he is no longer a Bela Lugosi inspired character. He was
like a mad scientist.
No, he's Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
He's got like that aesthetic, but he is like a mad scientist type deal as well.
Which you know, Grandpa was too, so that does check and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
they show his lab and everything, and he's the one in the show responsible for maintaining Herman, like the bits and pieces that comprise him. And they have a really, I will say, they have a really funny opening in Mockingbird Lane, with Eddie. He is on a Boy Scout camping trip, and it's a full moon.
Just a bit of poor planning there.
Well, it's puberty. It's think of Scott in Teen Wolf. That's kind of Eddie in this situation, except he has no idea of his.
Does he request a keg of beer?
I'd like a keg of beer.
So briefly with the Munsters, as a really big fan of old shit, I just really like old shit a lot.
Cool.
I love stuff from the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. Kind of lost me a little bit for some of it, but you know, some of it's good. 70s, 80s, I really like entertainment from lots of decades, but I like old shit. I love black and white. So I just this was like my favorite old thing ever as a kid. This was the first old thing I liked. This was Nick at Night, and sure, there was lots of other Nick at Night shows. Some of them I watched. You know, I definitely watched some F Troop, some The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis.
Oh my god!
For some reason, had Bob Denver before
Denver
Gilligan's
was
Island.
his character, and that was the direct inspiration for Shaggy in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, he looks just like him. So, like, of everything that was on that, it was like, no, the monsters are what I care about. This is my favorite. I like it so much. So I think that sometimes things are lightning in a bottle, and you just can't reproduce them. There's been so many monsters over the years, so many shows, so many different adaptations, TV movies, and to me they've just never worked because you're just trying to recapture. You're like, well, okay, well, why did the monsters work? Well, part of the reason the monsters worked was because it was made in the 60s when goofy, campy, like, comedy was being written that way. So it was sort of like, it's not us looking back to try to write comedy in a style that it doesn't work anymore. It was contemporary for them. So, like, these were great TV writers that were, doing this stuff. And then you have the performances that no matter who is playing them, you cannot have another Fred Gwynn. You cannot have another Al Lewis. I would say you could extend that to Yvonne DiCarlo, but for sure, those two are just irreplaceable. You just can't. And I've heard that. Oh my God, his name just fell out of my brain. The guy who plays Grandpa in the Rob Zombie one, Daniel Roebuck. I like Daniel Roebuck, and I was very nervous because I was like, wow, I hope this doesn't. The inevitable shitstorm, as I saw it, whatever. I hope it doesn't taint him, because this is for him a big role. And like, I was watching interviews with him just because I like him, and he was so excited and, oblivious to all the bad criticism about the trailer and stuff like that. So I'm like, well, I really hope that he ends up, not smelling like crap over this. And everyone who's liked it has mentioned his performance as being their favorite. So I'm sure he didn't work for everybody, but that makes me happy. I'm glad that
That's good,
some people were happy with his grandpa, and I've heard that he does an Al Lewis impression.
Ooh.
And he does it pretty well. But see, the difference is he's doing an impression. Al Lewis is just being himself as a vampire.
And you got to think the chemistry that both Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis had anyway, because they've been on Car 54. Where are you?
Car 54. Right. I mean, it's just lightning in a bottle in so many ways.
Can you tell I also watched a lot of Nick at Night growing up? The Monsters and Bewitched were like two of my favorite shows.
I watched a lot of Bewitched. Yeah. Agnes Moorehead, who played Endora, is from Clinton, Massachusetts, the town next to me.
No shit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I did not know that. That's
awesome. She's also in one of my favorite Vincent Price movies, but it really is just an Agnes Moorehead movie, which is The Bat.
Nice.
Great.
I've seen that.
Great.
My dad was a huge fan of Vincent Price.
It's a great flick, and Vincent Price isn't even in it that much. It's really her movie, and she's just an awesome lead, smart, self-possessed female detective in her 50s. Just overall, just a miracle of screenwriting and casting at the time. Like, you'd never see anything like that. It's just insane. But nice. It's great flick. Love that one.
Yeah. But I mean, for everybody out there that saw it and enjoyed it, awesome. Vaya con Dios. And for those of us who have started to watch it, most of the people I know who started it all separately from one another said, oh, I shut it off after about half an hour. Every single one of them. And then there are some people, I'm sure, that finished it and they still were just like, yeah, you know what? I think I've lost faith in cinema. Like I don't know that I can watch anything ever again. This may have just caused anhedonia in me. I don't think I can enjoy things anymore. I don't know.
I mean, the trailer was truly that bad. So
yeah, it wasn't. It was.
I don't know what to say.
Great.
I didn't know it was out. I didn't have a cart in this race, so
there you go.
Not a Monsters fans, and not a Rob Zombie fan. So
no, there you go.
Honestly,
no horse in the race. Who cares? It's fine. You're
one
better off. You're better
One
off.
of the things that probably hurt it, honestly, aside from whatever number of issues, is part of it is the look of it. And for me personally, I like my monsters in black and white. It just has that universal horror feel, which they were clearly like being camp towards when they did the show. And if you throw everything in living color, it kind of takes that membrane away.
Yeah.
You no longer have that separation where you can look at it as this like completely different horror adjacent world that they live in, where it's like people are so polite in their neighborhood that they don't want to say anything about how they are clearly monsters. So they'll just pretend like everything's okay. I mean, that's part of the joke.
But that's not what happened in the TV show. I remember watching the TV show. They interact with the neighbors. The neighbors freak the fuck out. That's what I remember.
Occasionally.
I think they were always trying to like hold it together. But yeah, sometimes they would just like freak out quietly, privately or something. But
that's what I'm saying.
They could tell. They could tell that
they could tell it was about being polite to their faces.
Yeah.
Though.
You know what's funny with the color thing is Rob should have just done it in black and white, because every other Munsters adaptation has been in color anyway. There's nothing novel. He made such a big deal in that teaser of like starting it in black and white and then it becomes in full color, and it's like, and now in full color. It's like, yeah, every other Munsters, even the Munsters TV movies with the original cast in the 80s.
What was it? The Munsters Today or the Munsters?
Well, Munster Go Home was the first TV movie with the original cast. There was, I think Munsters Today was one of the specials. That sounds right to me. But
I know that Jason Marsden played Eddie in like
that was the TV show that got it got like 3 seasons or something gross. Like, oh my god, terrible, awful. Yeah, James Marsden, not James Mars Ters.
Yeah, Marsden. I did say Marsden.
You did say the right thing. But for those,
I'm like, did I say Marsters? Holy shit!
No. But for those listening, it's not Spike from Buffy, different guy.
Yeah, that did confuse me when Buffy the Vampire Slayer started. Though I was like, wait a minute, what?
And then there's the Cyclops guy, and you're like, it's all the same guy.
James? No, are they related? No, but they are almost the same height.
He should have just done it in black and white, because it would have been the first adaptation to go back to that. I mean, and it does hide flaws.
But also plug into the nostalgia. That's kind of the point, right? I mean, you're trying to build something up off of what hopefully has a lot of like, geeky goodwill out there, and it sucks, old fans in and new fans alike. Like, what is this? Like, and there you go. But
and ironically, one of the main complaints that I've heard for the people who aren't saying this is just garbage, if people are like giving it more credit than that but still criticizing it, is that they don't like the overuse of green gels. They supposedly there's a lot of green lighting in the movie that is just overboard, and sounds like Zombie just doesn't know what he's doing, which is kind of the way I've always felt about his movies. I always feel like, you're a fan of this thing. You're trying to make a thing like that. It'd be like me trying to make, a gangster rap album. It's like, it's gonna suck. I can't. I mean, like, honestly, like
brutal honesty over here.
I would not be able to fucking do that. It's like, just because you like something, I mean, that is important when you're trying to do something, but
here's the thing.
It's not a blanket. It's not a bulletproof vest. Like, oh, I love this so much, it's going to be great. It's like, no, it might still suck, Rob. You're not a very good filmmaker. And I think he just doesn't understand. Like, I know he likes the thing. I don't think he knows why the thing works.
Yeah.
By the way, just real quick, the whole Desilu thing. I just remembered what it was. I had found out that they produced the show. That's straight up what it was.
That was Monsters?
That Desilu produced the Monsters.
Oh,
and
cool, cool.
Yeah. But I realized I was like, I had just, this is a while, the end of last year. I watched The Matrix Resurrection or whatever. And I had watched the first movie again just to like kind of get into the groove because like fuck 2 and 3. But as I was watching, I was like, oh, that's fucking nuts. And Tara's like, what? And I said, Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, their production company Desilu, they produced the Monsters, and because of that, indirectly, we ended up getting the song Dragula by Rob Zombie, which is the song that's playing in the club when Neo follows Trinity. And she was like, so what does that mean? I was like, that means that the Monsters and Lucille Ball only exist in the Matrix. And she was like, I think you're diving a little too deep in this. I'm like, not deep enough. Never deep enough.
We have to see where this rabbit hole goes.
Stop trying to hit me and hit me. But yeah, so sorry, I just want to jump in with that. But what I find perplexing too in regards to Rob Zombie's involvement with the Monsters is I agree with you, Parasite. There's only one movie that I've seen by Rob Zombie that I give I'm like, okay, that wasn't like terrible. Like I didn't mind it. And that's The Devil's Rejects. That's it.
Yeah.
I absolutely despise House of a Thousand Corpses. I remember the first time I saw it, because I've only seen bits and pieces of it since then.
Yeah.
I sat down and watched it with a couple buddies of mine, and they were like, oh, it's Rob Zombie's new horror movie. It's awesome. Let's watch it. And I was like, okay, let's check it out. And then I watched it and I was like, so like, I guess we have to figure this out. And they were like, what? And I was like, which one of you do I punch in the mouth right now? Because you just wasted hours of my life that I'm going to have to account for at the pearly gates. Like St. Peter's going to be there like, oh yeah, we'll get you right in, Mr. Oh,
Devil's Rejects.
House of a Thousand Corpses. Oh, buddy.
Brandon, that is the same react.
We cannot let you in, man. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you have to go to hell, but you are going to have to go to our waiting room for a little while. Waiting room? Well, you might call it purgatory. The fun thing is time doesn't exist there. So I'm going to tell you it's only going to be about an hour, but it could very well be a million years.
But really, you can watch the Zack Snyder Justice League a few times.
Brandon, that's the same reaction I had with my high school buddies when we went to see Rob Zombie's Halloween in the theater.
Oh,
and I was like, which one of you?
The thing that gets me is that Rob Zombie has no background in comedy. No background. All right.
Yeah.
Funny enough, his brother, Spider-1, the front man for Power Man 5000, actually made a horror comedy show on MTV. And it was fucking hysterical. And it got one season because it was MTV. They had no faith in it. It's called Death Valley. And it's basically like it follows the UTF. Was it? Yeah, the UTF, the Undead Task Force. They are a new division of law enforcement across the country because inexplicably, vampires, zombies, and werewolves just showed up out of nowhere one day. And these guys and gals have to go out and take care of the crimes that involve any of these creatures.
I just wish for once, instead of vampires, werewolves, and zombies, it was something like different, like Invisible Men and Creatures from the Black Lagoon and Phantoms of the Operas or something. I don't know. Like, just give me something different. Like, it's always those three.
They may well have gotten to that point if they had been allowed to go past one season. But I'm telling you, that one season, even with it being vampires, zombies, and werewolves, it's fucking funny, man. It is so good. It's better than it has any fucking right to be. Let me put it that way. I watched one episode of it. I was so ready to just be like, this is stupid. I don't care about this. By the time I got to the end of the first episode, I was like, well,
all right, I'm in.
Shit. Now I have to watch this until the bitter end. And I mean, it's the first. What's his name? Brian Callen from Mad TV.
Yeah.
He plays the chief of the Undead Task Force, and that dude is just delightfully insane on it. First appearance of Katie Lotz, who ended up playing White Canary on like Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's good if you get the chance. You know, I'll mention something to Fearless Leoter and see if we can get that on Pluther at some point. But yeah, like I'm surprised that Spider-Wen at the very least wasn't there to like say to Rob, like, hey man, you know, why don't you like watch some episodes of the fucking show before you do this movie? Just refresh your memory.
Hmm.
You know, it is what it is. So we'll leave it at that, you know, with the monsters.
I do want to. We got to talk about the what happened with the Blade production.
Yes.
That is just a huge bummer as far as I'm concerned. This is one of my most hotly anticipated Marvel projects. As a horror fan, I am very much hoping that we get a horror like Avengers. Hopefully it'll, you know, some version of the Midnight Suns,
yeah,
something with that. And I think that Blade is going to be, you know, based on the best scene in Eternals, which was the after credit scene where we heard Mahershala Ali's voice for 1 second. Are you sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman? Like, I'm like, that I want that. Give me I love the special effects of the Black Blade, the Ebony Blade, or whatever. It's like the way it's like, it looks like it's, I don't know, little magnetic little filaments magnetizing to his finger as he's about to touch it. I mean, like, I'm so fascinated by that scene. It's great scene.
It was definitely like
I'm
the most enticing part of it.
Please work in Moon Knight. Please work in Ghost Rider. Please. Like, but we need Blade. Blade's like going to be the center of this. I mean, like, he's got to be. I mean, you could also use Ghost Rider as the center of this, but they're not. They're clearly not. It should be Blade anyway. Everybody loves Blade. He's got all this pedigree from. We can thank him for our current, like, you know, the landscape of comic movies. It's all because of freaking Blade and David S. Goyer and Wesley Snipes.
I mean, who fucking would have known? For real?
I agree with everything you said, Steve. But the terrifying thing about this piece of news you mentioned, is they're gonna start. They're supposed to start production next month. Hopefully, they find a director before they start production. That's the terrifying thing.
The start date is now TBD.
I don't think they're going to be on. I'm definitely bummed, but the man's name is Bassam Tariq, and he was slated to direct, but he has.
What happened? Why did he leave? Did anyone find out?
It was because of shifts in the production schedule for Blade. He had other things that he was trying to line up, and because of what they were doing with moving around Blade, he wanted to see his like original stuff made, which I completely understand. He's gonna stay on as an executive producer for it, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so
he
will be.
It's not a Edgar Wright Ant-Man situation.
Yeah, well, that was a bitter swallow. That was tough. But yeah, so we'll get Blade. I think they're gonna make the right moves and try to get that on a reasonably fast track.
Yeah, it's just been so long since we got the casting announcement. It's like, what was that, like 4 or 5 years ago? I don't
even think it was that long ago, honestly. I mean,
it's been a while. I don't know when they announced it. I can't remember. Like, time means nothing now. 2019.
Yeah, so it's only been a few years. But yeah, I mean, I get it though. I want to see Blade in the MCU too, just because that opens up so many different things that they can do. I feel like it's taken an awful long time for them to get to the like mystic arts, supernatural side of things.
Yeah, the supernatural stuff. Yeah,
where, but we've only really seen magic in that regard.
Exactly. We've seen magic. We need to see the dark shit.
Yeah.
And I think, Agatha, is part of that. And, Mephisto, whenever he, clearly was alluded to finally in She-Hulk, I think a couple episodes
I don't
ago.
think we're going to see Mephisto until Fantastic Four is done.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we might see him sooner than that.
If we do,
only Leo can dream.
Yeah. Everything's Mephisto, or as Leo likes to say, Mephisto. I'm just like, I don't even know how you got that pronunciation, dude. But honestly, they're gearing up for it. I mean, Blade, they're ready to get somebody in there to try to make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We have Werewolf by Night.
Oh, I can't wait.
Special coming out, and I once again I love that they did it all in black and white, and they are dialing it on that universal horror, like the classic horror monsters.
I especially like the fact that they got a composer to direct this, especially a composer. Yeah, Michael Gianconcho. I think that's the pronunciation.
Aren't you Italian, dude?
Yes.
I'm just busting chops.
But yeah, Michael Gianconcho did a lot of works. I think he did compose the 2010 version of The Wolfman. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but
this is his directorial debut, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a composer directing. Yeah. It's not like John Carpenter where he's, composing and directing at the same time. No, it's just this is like a composer just going from the composer.
Literally? Like he's like, all right, action.
Yeah.
I'll just be over here on my synthesizer. Just whatever it is you're doing, do it again, but this time be better. There we go. That's how I direct.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Werewolf by Night.
Yeah,
too.
I can't wait. Definitely excited that they are including Man-Thing. That is just freaking awesome. I never saw that one coming, that's for sure.
Well, especially after the abysmal movie that they made.
Oh, a million years ago on the Sci-Fi Channel? That was so long ago.
Well, no, see, they sold it to the Sci-Fi Channel because it was so bad. It wasn't made for them. That's the sad part about it. They legitimately made that movie like, this is going to be fucking great.
Man-Thing is he's such a weird character. He's on the list of characters I honestly truly did not think they would ever do in the MCU. There's a short list of characters I still can't believe we haven't seen. It's like Silver Surfer and obviously Fantastic Four and X-Men are coming, whatever, but Beta Ray Bill I cannot believe we haven't seen. The Enchantress, doesn't count. The Enchantress is so weird. Like we have like shades of her twice. Like Amara, like just so weird to me that we haven't really seen. So there's certain characters that are just weird. But like Man-Thing, no, I never expected to see Man-Thing. But so that's pretty cool.
The fact that it's not just Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night, but I mean the Bloodstones. I mean,
right? They did just confirm that. I read that today. Maybe it was from yesterday or something. The Elsa Bloodstone is the woman that's in the trailer. Yeah, they were very tight-lipped about who the characters are, and I don't know if anybody is familiar with the old. It looks like a Hammer movie from the 60s. It is from the 60s, but I don't actually think it's a Hammer production. I think it's possible it was Amicus, or I don't know. I just don't think it was. There's something about it. I don't feel like it was Hammer, but there's this movie called The Beast Must Die, and Peter Cushing is in it, and he was in a lot of Hammer movies at the time.
Yeah.
Before he was Grand Moff Tarkin, and but the plot of what we were given, we've invited you all here and one of you is a werewolf. That's that movie. So I think that it's really interesting because we're also we're getting like the 1930s look and the classic Universal monster look, but really the plot is most similar to seemingly to The Beast Must Die, which was from the 60s, which was not a black and white movie.
I'd like to reiterate my comment. It wasn't, he didn't compose The Wolfman in 2010. He did compose music for The Incredibles, the Mission Impossible 3, and the Star Trek trilogy, Super 8, pretty much any J.J. Abrams film, Ghost Protocol, the Planet of the Apes trilogy, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War of the Planet of the Apes, Jurassic World, some Marvel movies like
dude gets around.
Right?
Yeah, Rogue One, Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, Jojo Rabbit. So he's been composing a whole
great
crap ton of,
so that's the director of this Werewolf by Night special TV special
on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so there's that. I mean, we have that to look forward to, thankfully, just in time for spooky season.
That's coming out in like shortly, isn't it?
Yeah, like another
couple weeks or something, a week or two. Something.
I think mid-October, I believe, or late October.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Either way. Premiere date. Let's see. Where are you? October 7th.
7th. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Same day as Hellraiser.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hellraiser. I'm also looking forward to.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
The designs of the Cenobites they're releasing are really freaking sick.
I know.
I'm like today they the pictures of the weeping Cenobite was going around, and they were sharing like the actress who played her, and oh my god, what an awesome design.
I've stayed away from a lot of the Hellraiser stuff because I want to be as fresh as possible going into it.
I assume that most of the background, it's like the background Jedi. They're probably just not going to be in it a whole ton. The secondary Cenobites never were, but they are part of the fun.
Absolutely.
In the same way that all the Clone Wars Jedi were back there. You're like, oh, look at all those cool, neat guys that they have action figures of, and I have to pause it to see. Where's Shakti? Oh, she's in the background. You got to pause it. There she is. Don't worry. We'll film like 3 death scenes for her in the next one, but they're not going to make it in the movie.
Well, that's a great segue. Because as one of the things we wanted to talk about, we'll just kind of buzz through a few things here real quick. James Earl Jones is retiring from acting.
Yes.
But he signed the rights to Vader's voice to Lucasfilm and Disney so they can recreate his voice for Darth Vader moving forward in any productions. And they've actually already used it. They've done it they did it in Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that was
really,
and it's actually a
Ukraine company,
design company in Ukraine, and they actually they finalized everything in the midst of the Russian attacks coming into their country. As a matter of fact, I think the article I read it's Steve you sent me.
Yep.
It was on my birthday. I'm reading it. I'm like, February 24th. Well, shit. Happy birthday to me. But yeah, apparently one of the things that the team did to keep themselves sort of like preoccupied and sane while they were, sheltered and had already sent their families across the border was working on the audio for Darth Vader so they could just get it done, because one, they needed it. They needed it to distract them, but also they wanted to show that they were a Ukrainian company that did this and bring attention to the fact that they are a country that has a lot to offer altogether. There's a lot of stuff like that going on in Ukraine. And the guy the CEO of the company, he was just like, no one's aware of it. Nobody knows.
Now they know.
Yeah, now he was saying like it's so great that you're talking with us about it and that you're aware of it, and that Lucasfilm made sure you knew that it was us, because before this point we have the best software for this altogether. Nobody else comes close to what they're capable of doing with it. their stuff still sounds human when they make it. Doesn't have a robotic, tinny, fake sound to it.
Yeah, I thought it was James Earl Jones all the way in that show. Because I know he came. They said, he came back, so he must have recorded something, but maybe it was so they could synthesize his voice in some way, or
he
like how you were
consulted. He consulted the team that was making Darth Vader's voice for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm sure he recorded some things just so they can manipulate the
They
voice.
probably did things for comparison, but even then, I mean, he's 91 years old. His voice is considerably different now than it was when he.
Yeah, just like Mark Hamill, even it's.
Well, they also did Hamill's voice. They did Hamill's voice for
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian,
which did sound pretty good.
I honestly thought it. I said to myself while watching the Mandalorian, I was like, "Wow, Mark Hamill."
You're like, powerful, Brandon. You know what I think? And you're like, what do you think, powerful, Brandon? Oh, I'll tell you what I think.
So I says to myself, I says,
powerful.
Yes, Brandon.
Yes.
But
I
actually
how'd he do?
I did remark. I was like, wow, Mark Hamill, like he really made himself sound younger for this. I don't know how he pulled that off.
Yeah.
That dude was railing down fucking cigarettes like nobody's business up until about 4 years ago. So,
I mean,
good
it's
for him.
kind of.
I guess that albuterol's working.
The way the technology is fantastic these days, and it's fantastic that this company is doing this. And the age of these actors, yes, it's sad that James Earl Jones has to retire, but it's great that we have technology that can keep the legacy of the characters that they've done going.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the equivalent of like one of the greatest soprano voices in the world lending his voice to this company, and then he dies, and then his voice is used in opera or something. It's just something similar to that.
Something to keep you're preserving the thing that you can't reproduce for posterity, for future generations. There is an element of like, is it stealing of the soul? This silicone, like, gross. But if you look at it that way, the way you just said, then it feels okay.
I think it helps too that James Earl Jones had a say in it.
Yes, that's true too. Yep.
If it were just them trying to do it themselves, then it would be like, all right, like, listen, Disney, here in this office building, you are not going to be raping the corpses of any of the actors or actresses that I grew up loving. If you want to pull that kind of shit, you can go down the hallway and start working alongside Corpse Rapers Incorporated. They have a weekly magazine. That's their jam. We don't do that here.
And now that this company has Mark Hamill's voice, I know that Mark Hamill's with Disney doing the Star Wars stuff, but if somehow Warner Brothers got their hands on Mark Hamill's voice and they relaunched the Batman animated series in the 90s, yes, that's where I was going. They could, bring Mark Hamill's voice back, and they can do it's just a thought.
Just a thought. There are other great Jokers. Alan Tudyk's a pretty great Joker.
I was going to say, Alan Tudyk's awesome.
Alan Tudyk, but also, I don't know who did it, but who took over for Mark Hamill in the games? Because Mark Hamill, I think, stopped at City, or maybe he wasn't even in Arkham City. I can't remember. I think he did Arkham.
I think he did the first
Arkham game.
Yeah, he did the first one, and then the next one was
trilogy.
Origins.
He did all three?
He did all.
You yes. Sure? Yep.
Okay.
I want to say it was like Bradley, someone, but that could be
there. There is somebody who does a remarkably good Hamill Joker that has been used in stuff, and I've been fooled. And it's like, wow, I really thought that was Mark Hamill in it. It's not.
I think it's Troy Baker.
Oh, well, that wouldn't surprise me too much, I guess.
Yeah, I believe it's him. He let's see, yeah, because he did the voice.
Troy Baker's the Obi-Wan Clone Wars guy, right?
Yeah.
He's so amazing. Like to see him, like if you ever look up videos of Troy Baker doing like monster sounds, it's like it's not even real. It's it's like it literally. It's like how can the human voice even do any of this? It just doesn't make any sense. He's so good. It's insane. Really, Troy Baker's a freaking genetic freak. I don't know. He's a mutant.
Yeah,
wasn't there a guy in like 90s Excalibur that could like mimic anybody's sound? He's like that guy.
Yeah.
Remember there was like a little lion guy or something? I don't remember his name.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either. My God, Excalibur. I haven't thought about them forever. But yeah, he was the voice of the Joker in Arkham Origins.
So the one that doesn't count.
Yeah, the game that nobody will admit
that
they
one doesn't
played.
count. Yeah.
Okay. But he did nail the voice in that. He did. But yeah, I mean, Alan Tudyk, I think, does an excellent job in Harley Quinn. And funny enough, I believe both he and Troy Baker are from around the same area in Texas. So go figure.
Interesting.
Yeah, considering the amount of voices that Alan Tudyk does, and not just generally, but also in Harley Quinn.
I love that guy. I've loved that guy since that 28 Days movie, the Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh my God, me too. What was his name? Gerhardt or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, it was a very German name.
I don't know what you want me to do. He's leaving. He's leaving. I'm not going to stop him. He's leaving. It was fucking great.
That was a great movie. I really like that movie. It's a really great.
That was one of like
dark comedy.
First experiences seeing Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen just playing a guy.
Yeah, it was that, and funny enough, this independent movie that he did with Ashley Judd and Brendan Fraser called The Passion of Darkly Noon, in which Brendan Fraser plays this fucking psychopath that just becomes obsessed with this couple after they hire him to be like a hand at like their property they just bought. And Viggo Mortensen's character is mute in the movie. He can't talk at all. And this guy, his name is Darkly Noon, and he like wraps barbed wire around himself under his clothes. Like he's just absolutely fucking nuts. It's like Robert De Niro or Robert Mitchum's character from Cape Fear, like times 10. Yeah,
interesting. I never heard of it. But I first saw him in The Prophecy.
Oh my God, one
where,
of the two best Satans ever.
What's your other best Satan?
Peter Stormare.
I go Ray Wise.
I do love Reaper. So I mean, that's top 3 right there. Easy peasy.
Ray Wise was born to play a smarmy, shit-eating, grin-having devil. I'm the devil, Sammy. He was so great.
For Al Pacino.
You know, he's good.
He's all right. But I mean, he's still Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Pride. It's one of my favorite ones. Like, all right, we get it. You're Al Pacino. You showed up.
Absentee landlord. We get it.
Yeah. Like, half expect to hear the devil say "hoo-ah" at some point.
And then you got to go back to Witness, Harrison Ford movie from the 80s. Viggo Mortensen, very young in that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
wow, I hadn't even thought of that. Oh, I will give honorable mention to Robert De Niro and Angel Heart for excellent devil.
Yeah, very, very
low key,
subtle, very yeah.
And I appreciated it. It wasn't he wasn't chewing the scenery as Louis Saphir. little bit.
I'll give you guys a deep cut.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Burgess Meredith in Twilight Zone.
Oh, okay.
What Twilight Zone was he the devil?
I don't remember the name of the episode, but there was
he's in
guy
3 episodes that I know of. He doesn't play the devil in any of those.
Yeah,
No,
he's the guy who aliens screw with him and give him like different.
Mr. Dinkle the Strong.
Yeah, Mr. Dinkle the Strong, give him like super strength.
the
for a little
episode-
while. Then there was time now.
Yeah, time enough at
There was a-
last.
There
And
was
then
a
there's
guy
the
that- there's a
the
guy that
last
runs
one.
a newspaper. There's
Go
a
ahead.
guy that runs a new. There's a guy that runs a newspaper business, and Burgess Meredith comes up to him, and the guy that runs the newspaper business is basically failing at the business. So Burgess Meredith comes up to him and says, "I can help you for a price."
Printer's Devil.
Yes, that's it. Printer's Devil.
Yep.
And that was Burgess Meredith. So he's in
Yep.
more than 3. I
Yep.
thought he was in the
Yeah.
third one. I was going to say is The Obsolete Man, which is one of the best episodes. I mean, Time Enough at Last is also one of the best episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
what
love
like
old
that.
shit. But
Yeah.
that episode that you're describing, Stephen, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, a man sells his soul to the devil to save his failing newspaper and gets more than he bargained for. Sounds like he got a deal then. Yeah, that was episode season 4, episode 9 of the Twilight Zone. So yeah, there's that.
Oh, so season 4 is the season that was not on Netflix because it's the hour-long episode season. I haven't seen any of that season.
Well, that would do it then.
And then 5, they went back to the half-hour format. For some reason, when Netflix had it, they just didn't have season 4. So I've never seen. I have since purchased the whole season, the whole series, this big, huge mega box.
Worked your way through it.
I have, yeah. We haven't watched it since we bought it. I watched that was like my comfort show for the longest time on
I get it.
Netflix. It's like it. I mean, it's so handy having shows like that at your fingertips. You can just like throw it on Netflix or throw it on YouTube or something like. I don't know. Do you guys
It's
have
my favorite
comfort
thing to
shows like
watch
that?
on New Year's Eve.
Futurama.
Futurama.
I do that with on Netflix. I do that with The Good Place.
Yeah, Good Place is great.
And on the other streaming service I go to is Peacock.
Mhm.
I throw on either Parks and Recreation or 30 Rock.
Hey, those are all great shows. I just gravitate to the older shit. So like Twilight Zone. There's also like fun Twilight Zone like ripoffs that are still good.
Yeah.
Like Thriller's good, and there's one that all the episodes are actually on YouTube of the show. It's called One Step Beyond. It's it's good.
Oh my god. One step. Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, they're never as good as Twilight Zone, but I love watching really old like Ultraman and like Kamen Rider too.
There you go, man.
Yeah. And actually,
Kamen
the show that there's a really great show that preceded Ultraman, same production company. It's called Ultra Q, and it really is like the Japanese Twilight Zone. It's black and white. It's a great show. It's like X-Files / Twilight Zone. It's called Ultra Q.
No
And
shit.
yeah, it's like one of my favorite shows ever. I've watched the episodes like so many times. It's ridiculous.
Check
They
that out.
reused a lot of the monster costumes from Ultra Q in the first season of Ultraman.
That's par for the course with a lot of
Yeah, a lot. It
Japanese
was the
production.
same production house, and they. I mean, in Ultraman, they also cannibalized some
is that
Godzilla
Toho?
stuff. It's not. No,
Okay.
it was there is an episode of the first Ultraman season that does cannibalize a Godzilla costume, like
Of
the
course.
actual of Godzilla himself. They just basically threw a fin around his neck, and it's just literally it's Godzilla. But that happened because the prop houses had the same like people, and it somehow was okay for them to use that suit. But no, it's not Toho.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I had to ask. I had to ask.
I do enjoy that old Japanese stuff.
I mean, that's good though, man. That's you're appreciating it, and well, I wish more people would check out stuff that came out 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, if people are interested in the monsters, watch the original. Just check it out. Just
Absolutely.
it's a very charming show. It definitely needed to come from the time period that it came from, but the show is actually like as silly as it is, like they used it to tell some poignant stories, and there's a lot of stories about them being the other, and acceptance, and just it honestly like pushed some boundaries. It has a very silly rapper for sure. I mean, like it's this goofy haha show for sure, but when it got real, like it got real about stuff that a lot of shows of the day were not getting real about. So it's kind of cool.
The best comedy,
it's a good show.
The best comedy makes you think right
Yeah.
alongside laughing. So I 100% agree with that assessment. All right, well, we've actually gone just a little bit past the 2-hour mark here, so we're gonna need to wrap it up.
Let's do it.
We had some fantastic discussions tonight about these topics, guys. Let's I'm gonna go around. Let's see. I will start off with you, Parasite. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, with what you got going on, where they can check you out?
Sure. So check out my show on the Dorkening Network, Retro Redoctopus. We are a fun retro themed podcast. We talk about all the things that made growing up awesome. So if you like hearing me blab about comic book movies or something like that, we talk about like old cereals. Sometimes we just did a whole episode on cereal toys. I think we have a glow in the dark toy episode that we're going to be debuting for October at some point. We also do movies. We also do comics and video games. A lot of video games. We have fun. Come check us out. We're everywhere your fine podcasts can be found. Also, I am an author under the name Steve Van Sampson. I do have a brand new book coming out. It's called Black Honey and Other Unsavory Things. And you guys are listening to this show live. Well, in 2 days on Friday, we're actually doing a big cover reveal with the publisher, Rough House Publishing. Ooh. So stay tuned for that. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and I will certainly make sure you guys see this new cover art. It's art by Derek Rook, who's a comic book artist, and he's a great guy, and he's incredibly talented. This cover is gonna knock socks off. So it's nuts. So very excited. New book should be out soon, but we will definitely be at the Monster Expo, which is coming up in 2 weeks. I think it's October 15th and 16th, and that's in Taunton, Massachusetts. If you guys are interested, stop by the Rough House Publishing booth and say, hey, if nothing else, we always give out free high fives, throw lots of horns, lots of these. And we have awesome stuff on the table that you may want to relinquish some hard-earned dough for as well. So that's about all I got.
Awesome.
But thanks for having me on, guys. It was really fun.
All right. No, thank you. And just sit tight for 1 second. Let's see what we got from Yo-Yo. Hey, buddy.
It's not going to be much.
I know.
Because I don't
leave you out, my dude.
I'm just on Instagram, Yo Saint Laurent. Yeah, that's about it at the moment.
Go check out Yo Saint Laurent on Instagram. I swear, if you comment on something he does, he will have more than 5 words to say to you. I promise. Now, Yo-Yo, don't make a liar out of me. 6. Shit. Damn loopholes. All right, and Steve from Super Retro, what's your deal, man? Where can people interact and find you?
You can follow the award-winning podcast Super Retro Throwback Reviews on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and exclusively on the Dorkening Podcast Network. We're here every Wednesday, providing I'm not held hostage by work, which if I was tonight, Parasite Steve would have been taking my place. So here I am. I wasn't supposed to be here today. But,
all right, Tante.
But yeah, we actually have, if you like our show, check out Super Retro Throwback Reviews, the audio files, the award-winning show, because we talk about the latest pop culture news, the latest and outrageous and weird news in the world in our What the Hell Is That segment, because we talk about weird news in the world and put our smart-ass commentary on it. We do a thing called the Throwback Movie Review, where we review a movie from the 1900s to 2017. We literally pick a movie, review it. October, we're going to be reviewing horror movies, so I think This week is Final Destination. Next week is Psycho 1998. And Halloween is going to be Nosferatu because obviously it's 100th anniversary. So when are we ever going to do that again? So yeah, check us out. You know where to find us.
All right. And hi again and bye again, everyone. My name is Powerful Brandon. You can come on over to Facebook and check out the Powers Combined group. We are just a bunch of dorks that like to get together and share memes, info, news, good times, and laughs to be had by all. Our number one rule there is don't be a jerk. If you violate that, you will be booted immediately. If you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out on Twitter at Brandon's Powers and on Instagram at This Brandon Has Powers. You can find me here every week at 9 p.m. for the Dorkening Wednesday night show, as well as a couple of podcasts that I'm doing with our other Dorkening members, Leo Pond, our network head, and Justin Cooper. They are the Dork Night, which dissects and discusses all things Batman. And Comics Paradox travels across the Omniverse, in which we discuss alternate reality tales and takes, such as what ifs, Elseworlds, as well as story arcs and like Amalgam Comics or Heroes Reborn. It's a lot of fun. Those come out every other week. So Dork Night one Sunday, Comics Paradox the next, and you can find those wherever fine podcasts are broadcast. If you feel so inclined, please also check out the Dorkening Podcast Network.com or the Dorkening.com. We have over 40 shows in the entire network. We cover a plethora of topics. Chances are you stop by, you are going to find something that you might want to check out because you're generally and genuinely interested in it. So do yourself and us the favor. We'd really appreciate it, and we hope to hear from you soon. And with that being said, everyone have a great night, and we will catch you next time.